Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Blackjack. I'm Blackjack. This is my co-host, Athena. You can hear Marshmallow and Sonic complaining. Marshmallow bit me earlier really hard. I don't know if you guys have ever been bitten by a budgie, but it actually hurts way worse than this little girl. And bear in mind, this is from a year and a half ago. So, from her. So something hurts worse than that. Great. Am I bird shaming? Anyway, today we're going to we're Ganondorf versus Dracula, and that's going to be pretty darn interesting. I have Ganondorf right here. It's a really, really nice figure. Look at that. That is not what I would call desert armor at all. It's like gold brocade. That's what it's called. You get that crown. Not focusing, but trust me, this is a really, really nice figure, and it gives me like the Sword of the Sages in Breath of the Wild, so that's pretty cool. It's not in the compendium though. Take all the pictures I like of it, and it's not in the compendium. Whew. Although that's like a lucky drop with all the amiibo stuff, you don't get 100% guarantee every time. Like, eventually you'll get it if you keep scanning, but you know how it is. Right, Dean? Now, good news and bad news. The good news is I'm able to bring this up despite having no internet except on my phone again. Because of my phone, I was able to load it onto there and transfer it over. But the bad news is because of the format that this saves in, again, we're going to have problems with the camera and all of that stuff. It's saving as an MP4, and I don't know what it is about that and this player and everything, but for some reason it makes the camera go all herky-jerky when I... Hey! Come on! When I start recording the video, or so it's gonna seem like doing the jitter, stutter, whatever that's called. I hate to call it a stutter, you know what I mean? Because that already means something specific, but I guess that's just, staccato. Little chickadee out there. Baby chickadee. I'm going to put some birdseed out. Yeah, birdseed for little outside birds. It's hard to be an outside bird. You know that, Athena? Okay, so it's like, I was going to say 5 minutes, but it's like 3:40. So let's get into the video.
Get started. And you can get started with the Hims
blah,
Complete
blah,
Hairkit for just
blah,
$5
blah,
today while supplies last.
See, the video's doing
approval.
it already.
See website for full details and safety information. This could cost hundreds if you went to the doctor or a pharmacy somewhere else. Go to
not really relevant.
/deathbattle. That's FORHIMS.com/deathbattle.
Yeah.
ForHims.com/deathbattle.
Wind up teeth. That's all you need is teeth, right? Actually, that's
fame may be fleeting and wealth ephemeral, but true evil never dies. It just comes back with a goddamn second health bar. Ganondorf, the calamitous demon king of Princess Zelda's Hyrule. And Dracula, the everlasting vampire lord of Castlevania.
Yep.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick. And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
Sweet, sweet.
Millennia ago, in an age long past,
the
Demon King Demise threatened to pull the world into blood and war.
I still haven't played that.
Slapped by this pointy-eared boy in green. Undaunted by being, murdered, Demise cursed the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero to be
there was that time
haunted by
Akuma
his
showed up as the
wrath-made
last boss in
flesh.
Skyward Sword. That was
became
weird.
Ganondorf Dragmire.
Good old Dorf was born
Hey.
to the Gerudo tribe of the desert. Thing is, the Gerudo were all ladies, and Ganondorf was the first male born in 100 years, which automatically made him their king. Because... reasons, I guess? Wait,
I don't
so
know.
he gets to be in charge and has the best odds on
It kind of makes sense to me. I mean, if there's a rare birth that happens only 100 years, doesn't matter, if it's the only man born in 100 years, the only one with, well, I mean, they all have red hair, but let's just use that as an example. It's either going to be a bad omen or a really, really good omen. You know what I mean? What gets me is we've never seen another male Gerudo, and that strikes me as an oversight. I mean, there's one character I could think of who's a male who definitely has Gerudo blood, just looking at his character design, and that's Zao's from Phantom Hourglass, the guy who maxes out the Sword of the Ocean King for you. I mean, you can tell they basically just kind of adapted some sort of Ganondorf model there, because that guy is very clearly something to do with that kind of bloodline. Although, if you know the ending of Phantom Hourglass, iffy, but those kind of worlds always still exist. You know what I mean? Also, I love Miss Ashai's class, because it's kind of like dealing with strangers rather than specifically dealing with men.
That's my dream come true. Who could want more?
5
Ganondorf
kilometers
could.
away,
Jealous of
active
the neighboring
now.
kingdom of Hyrule's verdant fields, clean water, and not...
Mentally damaged with each reincarnation. Is he? Also, 7'6". Remember how there's that one Gerudo lady who says she's only 8 feet tall and doesn't get why guys reject her for it? Yeah, provided the Gerudo of his day were around the same height, even though that is very clearly not what they are, he would have been a shrimpy little thing. Unless that's normal, like, are the males typically shorter than the females in this species? Because, who knows? You don't come here for my reactions. You come here for Athena and to listen to me blabber on about things. But the Nibiru seem to be just, average adult height, so... They've gotten taller.
Being a godforsaken desert, he dreamed of a better world for his people.
Or, just for himself. Being the reincarnation
Could be
of
both.
ultimate evil means you're probably
That's
kind of a
sword. That's the
selfish
sword you
douche.
get.
And surprisingly, his vile ambitions would be rewarded. Turns out, he was also preternaturally adept at magic, as befits an education from his caretakers, the witches Koume and Kotake.
From them, Dorf learned to pitch balls of electricity, summon lightning, move objects with telekinesis.
Aghanim wasn't an alter ego of his. Aghanim was, possessed.
Levitate, form barriers, and control minds.
When he wishes to fight from a distance, he can create...
Yeah, okay, so that's just it. The wizard is controlling minds. That was Aghanim's power. Ganondorf controlled Aghanim, but aside from that, we don't know if he has some sort of mass spell.
Phantom horsemen or puppets
Do
of
we?
himself to battle
At
as
least in
his
that
proxies.
That
Or if he wants to get personal, he can use his dark magic to enhance his physical strikes, making him a badass at all ranges.
He's a master with
I
a
think
blade.
he's also just
sometimes
really, really
two,
strong
and
in it.
sometimes on horseback.
And sometimes 2 swords on 2 horsebacks?
Oh, let's not get crazy. He was just a man, after all, though not for long. With his magical training complete, Ganondorf put his
can't take
greatest
that
skill
cape
to the
seriously,
test.
though, with that
His
giant grin
raw
on the back
cunning.
of it.
By manipulating the rulers of Hyrule and its neighboring domains, as well as a curiously familiar boy in green,
Hey, what do you know? Weird coincidence.
Ganondorf gained entry to an alternate dimension called the Sacred Realm. Within it lay the Triforce, a magical artifact left by the gods said to grant the wish of whomever touches it.
The perfect solution to all your world-conquering needs. Except once Ganondorf got his hands on those golden Doritos, 2 of them jumped ship.
See, only someone with a perfect balance of courage, wisdom, and power can wield the complete Triforce. If someone with an imbalance between those 3 virtues touches it, it splits. In this case, the pieces of wisdom and courage went to Ganondorf's enemies, Princess Zelda and the hero Link.
Hey, spoilers!
That's embarrassing.
No one cares
But
about.
he did get to keep the Triforce
Hey, I
of power
spoiled
because
Kids
who
of
needs
Ours.
the courage and wisdom shit when you can just blow stuff up? So I live.
Even on its own, the Triforce of Power radically
Hyrule
improved
Warriors.
Ganondorf's strength
Great
and
game.
magical prowess, while also elevating him from a mere warlock to the Demon King he was always meant to be.
Literally, he can turn into a big blue pig monster.
The dark beast known simply as
Please use some
Ganon
Animal
is a
Crossing
nearly
footage.
unstoppable terror,
Ganon
gaining
in
even
my
greater
town, he's
strength
hilarious.
without sacrificing any of his intellect.
As a bacon wizard, he
Okay, hang on a second.
Dark beast known simply as Ganon is a nearly unstoppable terror, gaining even greater strength without sacrificing any of his intellect.
No. No. Beast Ganon has been said twice now to have an intellect of 0. He functions completely on animal instinct. Hey! Come here. Without sacrificing any of his intellect. That is bullshit! And you guys know that. To be fair, that's only been said about full-on beast Ganon. That's never been said about Pigman, who has also been shown to be able to have a conversation and everything like that. Like in The Link to the Past, where he's like, hey, kid, I commend you for getting this far, but I'm going to kill you now, so get used to it. But full-on beast, they're even showing footage from a game that specifically said that he has no intelligence in this form. Athena, come on. Fumbling around back here. Just, you had to have played it to get that part, okay? To get this part here, in order to unlock the part where you play as Beast Ganon, rip up all the fields and everything, you would have had to have beaten the story mode, right? Isn't that how that works? You have to beat the story mode to do that? It's been a while since I actually had to unlock all that stuff, but... Seriously, did you not pay attention to the dialogue? Come on. No. There's a rampaging parrot across the table. That's more scary than a giant pig. That is patently untrue. And that's something that they use that in the versus Bowser fight. Even though for only the second time in his life, Bowser should have been smarter than his opponent. First time being Booster from Mario RPG. So what is going on here? Without sacrificing any of his... That is freaking fake!
As a bacon wizard, he can obliterate foes with fireballs, turn invisible, teleport, summon darkness, and even distort the space around him.
Despite all that power and even successfully ruling Hyrule for 7 years, Ganondorf was soundly defeated
what did
and
he really
sealed within
do?
the sacred realm. There he remained, trapped outside the spaces of reality, a prisoner to the void between space and time, never to return ever again.
Sorry. I couldn't keep a straight face.
Yeah, no, he got out like the next day.
So nothing holds Ganon back for long, and he's insanely tough to kill. In fact, thanks to his part of the Triforce, he's almost indestructible. While most weapons can technically
I still don't get how that's supposed to be the same guy.
It usually takes a holy weapon like the Master Sword or light arrows to put him down.
He once survived being crushed within his own castle.
You don't need to you don't need to use the light arrows for that fight. You can just switch to any other arrow. Especially ancient arrows. Oh, they eat him up fast. Come on. Bomb arrows make for a spectacular spectacle. Spectacular. What's in the footage? Oh yeah, the whole getting crushed by his own castle thing. Again, I cite Giovanni survived that, and he's just supposedly an ordinary guy.
Size and composition here, and accounting for the hollowed-out interior, should weigh over 11,000 tons.
Even better, he later withstood a different castle exploding around him. Wow, some of this guy in castles.
By measuring the size of the in-game castle model and assuming violent fragmentation, we can determine it was a blast worth almost 2 kilotons of TNT, a yield comparable to early atomic bombs. And even though holy weapons can bypass his defenses, he still survived being stabbed in the face with the Master Sword. You know, the literal blade of evil's bane.
Or like when he was impaled through the chest by one of the sages after he was supposedly sealed away. He just yanked that shit right out and murdered the bastards that did it to him. Heads up, Wiz, never stab me again, and that's what's happening to you.
Right. Well, Ganondorf isn't just tough. He's powerful enough to punch shockwaves, tear up an island, and block out the sky with his magical malice.
Plus, he can keep up with light. He's even killed him in one timeline. And this fairy boy can dodge Beamos lasers.
Which are literal lasers. They move in a straight line, burn instead of exploding, and according to the game's guidebook, are called lasers. So they should move at light speed. Based on the distance Link moved relative to this beam, we can estimate his own reaction speed to be about 11% the speed of light.
Just blow it up already, boy.
Dwarf Lundgren doesn't get to hold on to Hyrule for too long. Still, you can stab and seal him away all you want. This big pork bastard will always be back to bring about your crispy demise.
Clear your throat, buddy.
In the world of Transylvania, the universe is governed by 2 opposing forces, order and chaos.
Hey, it's like you and me, Wiz.
No, I mean literally. As legend goes, for God to be good, there must be an equal force of evil to create balance. An evil found in an alternate dimension called the chaotic realm. This is chaos.
But to keep his spot in the balance on Earth, Chaos needed to choose a Dark Lord to represent him. A Dark Messiah, if you will. As luck would have it, a perfect candidate would end up choosing him.
In the 11th century, Matthias Kronkvist was the strategic mastermind behind a company of knights, alongside fellow commander and best friend, Leon Belmont.
But as with most bromance...
See, for the longest time, I had heard that he was a Belmont. And that's why the clan was always, you know. Remember when I said that Simon was one of my top 5 wanted characters for Smash, but I had ruled him out because he was owned by Konami. He's the only character on my list that I gave 0% to, even including stock for Radiant Historia. Even though no one played that game, I gave him less of a chance than stock.
It got screwed up by a homance.
Boomstick, have some tact. His wife died from a horrible illness.
Was it third wheeling? I'm sorry, Wiz, but you can already tell this guy is evil because
she's a ballerina there. She's doing the whole Swan Lake thing.
All the time to do the show, but sometimes one must embrace the darkness to see the light.
Right. Anyway, Matthias's grief was so intense, he swore vengeance on God himself. To achieve his vengeance, Matthias sought the powers of God's polar opposite, chaos.
So he
I gotta play some D&D there.
Played all the Step 1, pick up a red rock called the Crimson Stone. It'll be important later. Step 2, force death itself to become your personal secretary. Step 3, kill Luigi. Step 4, convince a vampire named Walter to kill Leon's fiancée, cause misery loves company. Step 5, let Leon murder poor Walt and have death shove his soul into that red rock. Step 6, congratulations, you are now a vampire. Goth kids, I hope you were paying attention.
From that day forth, Matthias rejected his humanity. He became a vampire, and much more.
Okay.
He was the Dark Lord,
Sonic's
Dracula.
deciding to do
There have been a lot of
veggie
different
reaction.
versions of Dracula over the years, but this one isn't your run-of-the-mill, I want to suck your blood type. This Dracula is...
Sometimes there's refund pumps. So did the bombs in the live-action Mario Bros. Movie. They had Reebok written on the bottom. Didn't he beat Vlad Dracul? Where does Tepes or Tepish, as they said in the Netflix one, come from? Thing is, I've actually got so I'm part Romanian and specifically Transylvanian. Yeah, it is a real place with real people living there. Although we would have been descended from the peasants that the vampires would feed on, right? So, but yeah, I grew up with some vampire lore. Not a whole lot, but yeah. Yeah. They actually have Halloween parties in Vlad's castle. Apparently they're really bad.
the avatar of chaos on Earth, the opposite to God. So, like, the devil. He's basically the devil.
He didn't have much time to enjoy his new powers, though, as his former friend Leon swore revenge, a vow which would carry
Also,
on
none
for
of these are
generations.
Romanian names. I'm just gonna put that out there.
This all new and improved vampire lord. He's got your standard vampire loadout like blood-sucking, flight, razor-sharp claws, telekinesis, and even tripping balls teleportation.
He can also exert his influence over all living things, whether it be mind control, body possession, or absorbing the souls and abilities of fallen enemies through his power of dominance.
Okay.
Like Kirby.
A demonic monster, Kirby.
Right. Kirby.
Yeah.
So Dracula can shapeshift
Come on,
to
you
his
could have
life
done
force
Simon.
desire, like into a swarm of bats, a cloud of
Or
mist,
Easter.
and a wolf. Oh,
I'm still gonna say it with the sound because that's how they said it in Symphony of the Night. Okay. Okay.
get it! The opposite to God, because he's a dog just like the way Alucard is Dracula backwards. God, I should do science.
He's also a master sorcerer, able to summon fireballs, meteors, and acid blood rain from the sky. Dark Inferno is a huge ball of magma that will fry anything in its path, and he can revitalize himself with another's life energy via Soul Steel.
Then there's his most powerful attack, a localized nuke of holy magic, the demonic Megiddo.
With all these
Okay, so they already said that Ganondorf can survive something like that.
powers, it's no wonder Europe trembled at his presence for centuries, though perhaps their fears were unfounded.
Yeah, despite being...
Given how far east Romania is, or Wallachia at that point, given how far east that whole thing is, you would think, why Europe? You'd think you get some, you get the Middle East, you get some Asia, you get possibly even some of North Africa in there.
chaos or whatever, Dracula was sometimes a pretty chill guy. He even got himself married and had a kid. Then again, kids are also the embodiment of chaos.
Yeah, they are. That's actually a good example of what I was talking about. Order and chaos isn't necessarily good and evil. Yeah? It's just order and chaos. They're completely different concepts. Also, Lisa's a freaking badass. I know she's basically just in 2 scenes, but you watch that show, Lisa is going to be like your favorite character. She's basically Belle if Belle had gone looking for Beast's library. She's just like, oh really? Oh really? You're going to threaten me? I'm going to teach you some manners and you're going to teach me science.
Sadly, the people of a nearby church grew suspect of his wife, accusing her of witchcraft. So they burned her at the stake, and Dracula swore vengeance upon the god they followed as...
Wait. Did he just get a total repeat of his backstory? Man, this guy can't catch a break.
He was even forced to battle multiple descendants of Belmont, many of whom would actually defeat him.
Well, sort of. Turns out Dracula is a much tougher vampire to kill than lame old Walter.
Even after losing his entire body, Dracula's soul remained tethered to chaos. Thus, he would be resurrected every 100 years.
When he wants to go all out, he can draw from the power of the chaotic realm and transform into one of many awesome monsters.
Nice.
Like a giant demon bird, a giant demon head, and a giant demon head in a painting that vomits out bats.
Dracula can punch hard enough to rend stone, move quick enough to catch arrows out of thin air, and even warp the fabric of reality itself.
Okay.
He's tough enough to survive
It's
a
my
lightning
Otis
strike,
Mon.
get blasted by an enormous meteor, and even get crushed under the weight of his fortress, aka the Castlevania.
By measuring the size of Castlevania on the game's official art, we know it should weigh around 2 million tons. Even then,
How do you know that? He battled Maria Renard and the Belmonts and his own son. A couple times, from what I understand. Again, Sorrento's castle collapsed. They got it. Giovanni did the same goddamn thing when Mewtwo blew it up, and no one's putting him in death battle, although a boss battle royale would be hilarious. I want to see it resort to throwing punches. I mean, they would probably target Maxie first because he is a tiny little thing with no muscle mass. Probably got some good leg muscle. Walks everywhere. They all walk everywhere, though. Yeah. Massive explosion visible from space. Here's a question for you. Not specific to this one, but in general. When someone says something's visible from space, how far do they mean, and do they mean from the naked eye? Because technically anything would be visible from space if you do it outside and you have a, good enough camera.
Dracula has regenerated his body from decapitation, a mess of blood, and even full-on disintegration.
Nice.
So how the hell does he keep getting killed by everyone from Discount Conan to the Ghost of Weeb's Past?
Naturally, with the help of holy weapons, which Dracula is certainly not a fan of.
Also, even when he's turned his body into some misty vape clouds, he keeps his head vulnerable.
Don't they both have holy weapons, though? No. And wouldn't a weapon by its very nature be chaotic?
Because
video
games.
Or more precisely, his hubris. Dracula's blatant arrogance would lead to his ultimate downfall, allowing his enemies to sever his connection to the chaotic realm and thus end his cycle of resurrections. So instead, he was reincarnated.
Of course.
Into a white-haired anime boy with the power of friendship. Soma Cruz, who turned out to be just as powerful as Dracula Classic, like when he dodged beams of light or when he defeated chaos
This is some
itself.
slow-moving light
Dracula's
beams,
influence
though.
and power would never truly end. Even 10,000 years into the future, his bloodline continues to strike terror into the hearts of men. As long as good and evil exist.
Hold up, that's his kid? What the hell happened to him?
No ordinary
different
man
kid.
can stand up to the incredible force that is the Dark Lord Dracula.
Behold my firstborn and despair!
It's an awesome game.
All right, the combat.
Yeah, talking about old graphics and stuff. You gotta figure that was like the same time FF7 came out, same system. FF7 looks like freaking crap. I mean, even at the time, it looked kind of laughable. It just... But, then you look at something like Symphony of the Night, and that is still a freaking gorgeous game. I mean, it's gory as all get out, but it's beautiful. Whew.
And we've run the data through all possibilities.
But first,
I
all
think
this
both
talk
look so-
of pigs and bacon has made me hungry for Blue Apron.
With ease. And as a thanks to you for... With ease. And as a...
Okay. Gonna be honest, I got no clue here.
Flash battle.
All I know...
A better way to cook.
But right now, it's time for a death battle!
Okay, so Dracula's Dark Megiddo or whatever that was called. They're gonna say that Ganondorf can survive that. Come on, up. People in the comments were saying both of these have access to holy weapons, but or you know, in the comments to other videos about this. Not, I have not watched more than a second of this, and it was just the beginning hymns commercial. It's just ready to say before anyone was like, "Oh, you say the comments," but Tina, no. But yeah, you see, the second I pause this camera starts working all nice again. Ooh, fluid movements. I'd hold up my glass here, but it's empty. Anyway, so they're gonna say that, and but the whole bullshit about Ganon having full intelligence, that is not true. That has never been true. Well, okay, maybe it's true for Pigman. But for full-on beast mode, it has been specified that he does not have, it's just words wiped out, you know? He works on instinct. Although, one of those times he was shown to speak in that form. But it was very basic. Just like power must have power is a blah blah blah, you know. Whatever. But either way, even if he has some intellect, it's nowhere near, you know, the cunning that the man has. He's a beast. He doesn't possess any sort of intellect. Athena, you're smarter than this. There's two ways I could have said that. There's Athena, you're smarter than this, and Athena, you're smarter than this. Yeah, 'cause excuse. Someone told me have the bird do the reactions instead of me. And I think that's what she's doing. Anyway, if Ganondorf wins, I'm going to have to call bullshit because I know it would come down to that. Let's just watch. If he wins for some other reason, though, I'm going to say okay. But yeah, so there's that gold brocade. Lights.
Your castle is lost, vampire. No man can challenge my power.
But what is a man? A miserable pile of secrets.
Right. Come on, I'm trying to watch this.
I'm no mere man.
Smackety! I don't think that would have caused blood, though. There's that hubris.
Your tricks mean nothing.
Hey, that's outside help! Also, he should be getting turned to stone ever so briefly because of that. Yeah, see, that's a holy weapon right there, basically. Flip, flip, flip. I did this bit with it. Camera isn't picking it up. I was imitating his little flippities. Yeah, not even close, bucko. It came out backwards! Both of them are probably thinking this is the best fight I've had in 10,000 years! Wow. 200 for that. Can you use those swords? Yeah, he's gonna survive that.
I am no simple vampire. I am a god.
Well, that's the problem. You both are. Oh! Interesting! He reverted? Has it ever happened?
You're a pig. Let me hear you squeal.
Oh yeah? Is he taking that form again?
You know, I hope someday I can learn to drink beers as violently as Dracula drinks people.
There was a lot going on here. Both Ganondorf and Dracula show similar reaction speeds, with only a small % difference when compared to the speed of light. They were both brilliant schemers who have perfectly manipulated many intelligent foes, and their standard magical arsenals seem pretty comparable overall.
But Dracula did have a leg up with a few extra magic powers that Ganondorf just didn't have. Like how he could rip out his soul in a bunch of different ways. That's something Ganondorf never really had to guard against before. Also, remember how Ganondorf survived an explosion worth about 2 kilotons of TNT?
An admirable feat, to be sure, but let's look at that meteor strike Dracula survived. Based on its size, composition,
I
and speed
forgot
of
the
ablation,
meteor.
it must have struck with an energy equivalent to 2 megatons of TNT, 1,000 times greater than Ganondorf's proven durability.
But hey, I know what you're thinking. What about that sage sword Ganondorf had? Shouldn't he have had an easy time killing Drac since it's a holy weapon?
Yeah,
In some
see?
circumstances, sure. Running this fight over
and
and
the
over 100
Triforce is
times,
one.
Ganondorf would certainly score a few victories. But when considering Dracula's absurd regenerative abilities, it would take more.
Most Ganon and Demise with a non-physical being sealed away in alternate dimensions or objects. This lends credence to the possibility of Dracula being able to manipulate and steal Ganon's soul. Ow.
More than just a few hits from a holy weapon to finish him off. Not to mention, Dracula also wielded a holy weapon that took advantage of Ganondorf's weakness in the form of demonic Megiddo. Yeah, I know it's called demonic, so it seems weird, but it is explicitly described to be holy magic.
Interesting.
And dropping a holy nuke on
Demonic
Ganondorf is
disaster?
a way more powerful victory move than trying to hit Dracula with a sword. And that's really what this came down to. Power.
Despite literally wielding the Triforce of power, Ganondorf's potential paled in
Yeah.
comparison to the energy Dracula drew from chaos. Let's put this in perspective.
The Triforce of Power comes from the goddess Din, who made the Earth. While we don't
All
know
right.
the exact amount of power Din
Spirit
put in
of
this
law.
piece, let's just highball it and directly compare it to her.
So the energy attributed to the Triforce of Power could be compared to the size and energy of a planet. However, the
I never actually did finish Link Between Worlds.
The chaotic realm is an entire universe, completely upheld by the power of the chaos entity. That is leagues greater than the power Ganondorf possessed.
So it definitely had a lot more juice to give.
Try thinking of the chaotic realm and the Triforce of Power as batteries, which fuel Dracula and Ganon's abilities. Compared to each other, Dracula would be drawing energy from something like a car battery, while Ganondorf's would be more akin to a small AA.
Wiz, I'll give you $5 if you lick that battery.
Ganondorf certainly held his own, but
Just
Dracula's
5.
more varied magic, greater regeneration, and enormous reserves of power sealed this desert warlock's fate.
Of all the ways to go, that must have sucked. The Big Pig's chances were slim to none.
The winner is Dracula.
Yay! At least they didn't
Did you know
bullshit.
we've got a card and dice dueling game?
Choose your weapons, armor, and skills before diving into the fight of your life.
Just don't eat the dice. They look like candy. They're not.
Click the link below to get the Death Battle game right now.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, was not expecting that at all. Okay, now I wasn't exactly cheering against Ganondorf. It's just they're pulling out that bullshit. If they had it go with that, I would have called no way. Actually, I think I was pulling a little more towards him just because I know him better as a character, but you know, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. You know, you gotta deal with bull all over the place. Or rather, I should say, hogwash? Oh, heavens to Betsy. I probably could have followed this better if I knew more about Dracula. The only Castlevania game I finished is Symphony of the Night. And let me put it to you this way. In the original games, you can die by not hitting the downstairs button right when they want you to. It counts as falling off a cliff. And that is a degree of bullshit up with which I will not put. Which, yes, does in fact reveal that I don't know much about Simon as a character. He was one of my top 5 most wanted characters for Smash, and he's still my secret shame. But, yeah, as far as the battle goes, the animation was good. Some things were a little stiff, but the thing that got me is that the punches and stuff didn't really seem to have much, like, physical impact. And I guess the Medusa heads, even though they're living things, they're also, it's more like animal control than actually like controlling a sentient being. Isn't that kind of how Medusa herself uses them too? They're just kind of like little projectiles than anything else. It'd be like summoning, well, I would say a flock of parakeets, but no, a flock of squirrels, I guess. Just small little, I don't know. It's not enough to be considered outside help, exactly. Oh. Come here. Come here. Yeah, you're gonna go back and get more breakfast. Give me a minute, okay? Gotta wrap this up. Next time, okay, I saw the first season of One Punch Man. Don't know, she's the, who is this sassy lost child, right? That's how little I remember. Excuse. Mob, I've watched, like, Oh, 3 episodes? Because the Crunchyroll player is so bad? It is, it's terrible. Oh my god. I get more loading and ads than I actually do show. But I keep imagining, I keep thinking the guy that Mob works for um, is basically the Sean Spencer of anime, if you've ever watched Psych. Except Sean would actually be getting stuff done on his own. Hey, no. So I gotta go for obvious reasons. Also, I haven't eaten yet, and it is 1:27 p.m. Yeah, I know. It's like, it looks brighter there. I was going to show you it's dark out, but it actually looks really bright outside when I show you on the camera there. Anyway, okay, I gotta go. I gotta shower. I gotta get ready for the day. I guess basically after a point, I just kind of want to Ganondorf to lose out of spite. Just because of the incredibly bad research on that one point. Which is funny because it sounded like everything else was accurate. That one thing. That one thing. Oh my god. Also, I know Alucard versus Blade is a popular want to see because they're both half vampires. I know people want to see Alucard versus the Helsing Alucard, who is full vampire. So would they get Takahata 101 to voice him? Hilarious. Because he'd have to play him straight. Nothing about, the police girl with the big titties. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Anyway, yeah, I'm just rambling. This is my thought process all the time. This is why I have severe insomnia, because I can't turn my brain off. My brain meats just keep going. Okay. Alright. Then okay. Alright, well, I will see you next time. I am only remembering her name as Tatsumaki because Tatsumaki Senpukyaku from Street Fighter. Which I hope they reference. Okay. Alright. I wonder if they're gonna bring up that Mob is probably autistic. He's got something. Okay, well, until next time, I'm Blackjack Gaviani, and you're not.